What is at stake in this 2025 NFL season for various players? We stumbled onto this. Josh Allen has the chance to remove his name from a place that no name ever wants to occupy, namely the greatest quarterback never to play in a Super Bowl, because he is that, and it's getting late early for his chances. Let me explain. Allen has already started 13 playoff games. The most that any quarterback ever started before making the big game was 12. Allen has thrown 25 postseason touchdowns. The most anyone else threw before making the Super Bowl was just 17. That was Peyton Manning, by the way. So Allen is well behind the curve, and candidly, it's not as though he can play much better. The numbers say he might be the best postseason quarterback ever. I told you, he has thrown 25 playoff touchdowns. There are a total of 21 quarterbacks who've thrown at least 20. He's the only one not to start a Super Bowl. In his 4 playoff runs that ended in losses to Kansas City, Allen has accounted for 28 touchdowns and 1 turnover. That is across 10 games and 424 passes and runs. His touchdown to interception ratio in the playoffs, by a wide margin, the best of all time. It's over 6-1. Mahomes is second at less than 5-1. In playoff history, teams that score at least 3 touchdowns with 0 turnovers are 140-19. Allen is the only quarterback to lose more than 1 of those games. He has lost 3 of them, all in the last 4 years, all against Kansas City. So the case on that part of this is closed. Josh Allen is the best quarterback never to start a Super Bowl. The open question is, being still only 29, is there still another level he can take this to change that? So that's what we're looking at as we start this season here. Let me get the guys together. Dominique, did you have an issue in any way with anything I said?
I mean, it's hard to disagree with any of those numbers. I think his career is still very early. You have to mention guys, because most great quarterbacks get to a Super Bowl at least. But I think guys like Warren Moon didn't make it to a Super Bowl, but the numbers aren't nearly the same as what Josh Allen has put up. And of course, Lamar Jackson's another guy, but he's a current contemporary. But it's hard to imagine that Josh Allen will be kept out of the Super Bowl for much longer, because to your point, he can't do much more than what he's doing.
Well, that's the scary part of all of this. And the reality of it is, look, Warren Moon, through no fault of his own, his NFL career was shortened because the league was where they were at that time, and he wound up having to play in the Canadian Football League for a long time. And Lamar Jackson, whose regular season success has been equal to, if not even greater than Josh Allen's, his postseason performance has been nowhere near what Josh Allen's has been.
Right, and I think when you talk about Josh Allen, you say, he's lost 3 of those games, all the last 3 years, all to the Chiefs. He hasn't lost. You know what I mean? Like, that's the
Rex
thing.
says it.
So
Rex says it all the time. Josh Allen has never lost to Kansas City, only his team has.
Your defense can't keep them out of field goal range with 13 seconds to go. The kicker misses a kick. Like Kansas City is on one of the all-time runs. And that's what Josh Allen has been up against. The Buffalo Bills are good enough to get to the Super Bowl. They just haven't been able to win that one game against that one team, and it's not necessarily all on him.
So the question, Big Swagu, is this the year? The Bills are favored in every game they play this year. The schedule for teams in the AFC East tends to be a little weaker, at least what we expect it to be as the season begins. Do you consider this Josh Allen's best chance to finally scale Mount Mahomes?
Nope, I do not. He didn't lose to Mahomes last year. It was Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. It's Joe Burrow a few years ago. Listen, Josh Allen is absolutely phenomenal, and you made a great case for him being the best quarterback to never make a Super Bowl. But we always tend to forget that these guys are technically bunched up at the top, with Mahomes sitting at number 1. When it comes to Burrow, when it comes to Lamar Jackson, when it comes to Josh Allen. And what happens now is that we were waiting to see if any other quarterbacks enter the fray. This is no indictment on Josh. Josh is the quarterback who's played well enough against Pat, outside of Joe Burrow, who's beat him, to win. That's the notch that he has on Lamar Jackson right now. Josh actually can turn the film on and say, you know what? I outplayed Pat Mahomes, or I played to a level where my team should have been able to go and compete to win a championship. We've seen Lamar not play to that level, so that's the one side. But we've also seen Lamar beat Josh Allen in the playoffs. We've also seen Joe Burrow beat Josh Allen. And I get all of this talk about the team because I'm one of those guys. I play defense. I like to bring everybody into the fray. But that is not how we gonna frame these conversations. We always gonna frame them on quarterback against quarterback. So Josh has to get over the hump of, one, getting an opportunity to play potentially Pat Mahomes, but also doing it and his team coming through at the end of the day, because he's played well enough to get them into a Super Bowl already.
I mean, Swagu's point is right. We're going to boil it down to the players, the quarterbacks at a certain point. But you can look through Mahomes' career and talk about all the different things that happened to allow him to have the success he had that he didn't have any impact on. You could do the same thing for Josh Allen for the deep ball to Kincaid, I think it was last year. That was catchable. The one to Stephon Diggs the year before, that was catchable. Like, he's doing the things. And then, of course, the 13-second one, which is
one of the worst losses in postseason history. And the idea that you would put that on the quarterback's ledger obviously makes no sense, but that is the world in which we live. So the people in Buffalo will tell you they are
championships.
Yeah.
But again, G, championships. Listen, man, for as good as these teams are, and as good as Mahomes has been, and these Super Bowl teams we've seen win, everybody that plays football knows that it takes the bounce of the ball the right way. It takes a little bit of luck. It takes those one or two plays going your way. And the thing that is so crazy about what we've seen the Chiefs do is it always seems to work out for them. But Josh has had those opportunities, and they just haven't been able to execute them. We had a drop pass to Mark Andrews last year that might have sent game into overtime. And so, again, it's all of those things.
Absolutely, as it always is. So again, the folks in Buffalo like to tell you they're New York State's only football team. But we also talk about the Jets and Giants, so let's get into New York State. Will Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter, looking so far so good,
have to be super high. The expectation isn't that you have to win a Super Bowl. Honestly, I don't even think they have to win a playoff game. If Jackson Dart shows promise under Brian Daboll, there's no chance that they're going to bring in a new offensive mind to develop him. Of course, I think that depends also on Abdul Carter being able to help.
There's some pretty strong areas in this roster. They have a real left tackle. They have a real number one wide receiver. They have a real pass rush. It looks like it could actually be one of the better ones in the entire league. So, you know, they're better equipped, I think, than they have been in recent years. It's just a matter of that ladder that they have to climb.
And
so,
brutal schedule.
Yeah, you get to the end of the year. If your ownership, like, do you feel good about Jackson Dart and where he is in his development? You keep the train on. Yeah, he could have postseason success. If we get to the end of this season with the Jets and we say he looks different as a passer than we've ever seen before, then I think we might have something.
If nothing else, Marcus, if they're going to run the ball, they're going to shorten the games. They're going to be, they have 38 minutes of time of possession, albeit in a preseason game. I get it, but that's the formula. Is Justin and the Jets going to be better than people think this year, Marcus?
In the fourth quarter, the game's going to be close, and you're going to have to sometimes lead a game-winning drive. And if you can't throw the ball, you can't do that.
All right, we'll see what happens with all of the New York teams. There are 3 of them. In the meantime, here are 3 other things you need to